Welcome to Lift, where we lift business entrepreneurs, leaders, and communities. I'm your host, Sarah Layson, and today is going to be a fun one. I have a incredible leader, mom, quite frankly, a empire builder and boss of a woman. Miss Itzel Sanchez is here with us today. And I fell in love with her as soon as I met her, and I have no doubt you all will as well. Itzel, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for
letting us come and join in your beautiful space.
I appreciate it. All right, let's tell the world who Itzel is. Tell everybody a little bit about your background.
Well, Itzel was born in Mexico City in a very little suburb called Colonia Reforma. And I was brought to the U.S. when I was 6, and I've been living here ever since. I'm 32 years old currently. I have 2 boys. I'm a boy mom, and I have a team at Keller Williams, the Sanchez team, and that's me.
A team that just so happens to do 200 plus transactions a year. I don't even know if you know this. You're number 3, I think, in the country for, I believe, individual agents. Because when you started, you were individual.
Yeah.
You slowly had scaled that out. But you have such a great heart.
How did I know that?
Yes.
Cool.
I need to look at the numbers again, but I do remember when you came over, I was like, she's already making moves, which was no surprise to me. All right, so let's talk. So you came to the U.S.,
yes.
right? And I know we've talked about just your journey in real estate. Tell me a little bit about why real estate, and I believe you started out as a wholesaler, right?
Yeah, so I started as a rental agent for a company, and then they started wholesaling properties, which I didn't know what wholesaling was. I just wanted to do sales, right?
Yeah.
I was just like, I want to do sales. In the beginning, I really didn't care for it. They were just like, can you translate this paperwork for me? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I just started translating, which I'm sure it wasn't not Tennessee regulations, but I did it. I didn't know any better when I was 20 years old.
This is a podcast for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, by the way. So when I started, I didn't know any laws behind anything. So I was like, sure. And then they were like, you should get your real estate license. And I was like, yeah. And I pushed it off, like, not a year. I pushed it off like for a year and a half. I didn't care for it.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
I didn't know it took you that long to do it.
Yeah, I didn't care for it. I was just like, no. I had my Latina mom power in me. I said, no, I want to be a stay-home mom. I'm just doing this because... meanwhile, I get married,
Yeah.
And then long story short, I got to pass the test. It took me 3 tries and I was exhausted. I was like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is not made for me. I never came into real estate knowing I wanted to do this. My mom had cancer. I was in nursing school. My mom was a single mom at the time. And it was either come and help mom pay the bills or stay in school and you're not gonna have anywhere to live. So I had to quit nursing school, come back to working. At that moment, a lady offered us to be like a leasing professional assistant to her. 3 months later, not even 3, I think 2 months later, she said, bye, I'm leaving. My daughter's sick and I had to leave. So she like literally left me with like her rental clientele. And then that's where I met the wholesaler that was there. And then he was like, can you help me translate this? And we'll do this. And then I just started doing wholesaling with rentals. And then it took me like a year and a half. And then when I turned 21, I got married. And then I passed my test. So 2 big things happened.
Well, you just unpacked a lot. I want to unpack a lot there because that was a lot. So you started, so you get to this property management company and then they leave. And all of a sudden you've inherited this large book of business.
Rentals.
Yes. Then you have this wholesaler connection. But meanwhile, your mom, you said, was sick. She had cancer, and you moved in with her to take care of her.
Well, I was always with her.
Okay.
She was the one providing because I was like the daughter at the house. And then she became like the daughter and I became the mom.
Yeah.
And then she had to leave to Mexico because treatment here was not accessible because insurance and stuff. So she had to leave to Mexico, and then I lived with different family members hopping around houses until I was like, screw this, I'm gonna go get my own place. And then I got my own place, and mom came after 6 months after that, I think, or 4 months after that. Renee was super little. My mom and Renee left to Mexico and I stayed here by myself. That was, I think, the hardest summer I had.
Wow. And you were how old?
19, 20.
19 or 20. And then you met your husband?
I met my husband when I was 13.
Okay. I did not know that. Really?
12 and
And
a
y'all
half.
were friends?
We were friends.
And then you reconnected when you're 21? Like, how did all
No,
this-
we were dating since I was 13.
Wow.
Yeah, we've known each other for 21 years.
Wow. And two beautiful kids
Two
now.
beautiful kids now, and now that's how I started real estate. It was just like super, I never planned on it. Like, and the people that were in my class that were like, yeah, I want to be a realtor, like they're not realtors anymore. And I was in real estate class just because the company pushed me to, and here I am.
So I've got some questions. I'm going off script, which typically happens on this show. I have some questions because I know you're a spiritual person.
Oh yeah, I am.
And do you think it just wasn't your time and season? Why do you think
sure.
that hesitation was there? Do you think that was a calling for you, or what do you think?
I think that God obviously knew what he was already doing with me, but then at the same time, I didn't want to at the moment because I was just like, no, I just want to be home and take care of children. Like, you know, that's what I grew up to be raised to. You know, my mom always took care of us before dad left. Like, she was more of a caregiver and a caretaker for us. And I was like, I want to be like mom. Mm-hmm. And then obviously dad left when I was 12. And then I saw how my mom hustled for us. And then that's where I met the hustle. That's when I learned how to hustle because my mom used to sell jewelry. We used to sell covers for like bed covers. Like, we used to knock on doors to do that. And
you would help her?
Oh, yeah. I used to carry everything around for her. I was the one that was, like, notating everything. And, like, our Saturdays, we're not going to the park. Our Saturdays were, like...
Hustle.
Yeah, put the big boxes of appliances in the back of, like, merchandise. And then we're going to go to John's house and Louis' house and Sarah's house. And we're going to go sell because they're going to be home today. And we just went and... Yeah.
Door-to-door sales at a young age.
That's how
I want to talk about your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like she's an incredible human, obviously.
She's the one that taught me this.
Because she's a single mom and then had cancer and then, taught you how to hustle. Talk a little bit about your mom for me.
Well, my mom had me when she was 15 and a half. So yeah, that's that. I was raised in poverty, obviously, and I love the way when she was younger, she said she used to go to like Mexico City, like city, like it was an hour and 30 minutes away from where we lived, this little suburb, and she used to go and like buy like little ribbons and like little things to sell to like provide for us because my dad was still in school. That's how young they were.
Yeah. What an amazing woman. There.
Yeah, and then she opened up a bakery in Mexico, and then she did that, and then we eventually came to the U.S., obviously. But yeah, she's a great girl. She's the one to introduce me to Jesus when I was 17. I was not the right teen. I was the teen, you know. I was a teen that, I was a teen that didn't come home, and I was out in the streets very late. Being a girl at 17, my mom freaked out a lot. So she was like, "You need to meet Jesus," and I didn't want to. I was very rebellious. And then one Halloween weekend, I had a Halloween party planned already, and my mom was like, "No, you're going to a retreat." So I just invited a friend, and she was the one that booked both of us a retreat, a 3-day retreat at a St. Clair Nun monastery down in Fraser that's now not there anymore, but at the moment it was. And we literally, I remember it was Halloween weekend because I was so mad I didn't go to the party.
You wanted to go to the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
God had other plans.
Yes, and I was so excited that happened in my life because if that would have never happened, I don't know what would have happened with me. I think I would not be here, and I think I would not be nowhere near where I'm at because God has opened so many doors like that I don't even know that existed, like when I couldn't go to school anymore because mom had a cancer, like that moment was an eye-opener. Like I knew he was getting me ready because more things were coming. So yeah, that's that, man.
Well, shout out to your mom.
Yeah.
I mean, to obviously Mother's Day is coming up and I don't know when this episode will hit, but I mean, moms in general are all of our heroes, right? And such a blessing and a gift to us, and God matched you with an incredible one. So tell me a little bit about how working, as a young kid and learning sales and, dealing with your mom, getting to be a part of that with her through the health challenges. How did that season build the foundation for who you are today?
She hustled even when she was sick.
Yeah.
And I mean, that built the foundation in me of a hustle, but at the same time, it kind of runs me down because I hustle even
when you're tired.
So I don't hear my body.
Yeah.
I don't know how to hear my body, Mm-hmm. So I hustle even when I can't
getting better
anymore.
about that.
Yeah, I know. I am getting better. But I used to hustle a lot. Like and then one day I stopped, Sarah, and I was like, what am I chasing?
Yeah.
Like, where am I hustling for? Like, what is my purpose? Like selling houses and becoming homeownership is one of my biggest things, but I'm running myself down. Mm-hmm. Like, is this really worth it? you know? And that's when God, one day, I prayed that weekend, and I remember coming into a conference room to the Richway office on Monday, and a family came in pouring down because she was just diagnosed with I think cancer, or like something like very severe. And I like prayed over her at the conference table. And I remember like remembering my prayer being heard, because I was like, do you really want me here? And I heard him say, yes, like I need you in the streets. Like I need you out because you're a light out there, you know? Like I don't care for myself being better than anybody else. I just want to be like him, you know? So when I saw me praying over somebody else that was crying over a health situation, and praying over all my families that have been in deportation and like all these things, I was like, okay, this is where I need to be, but I need to do it with more purpose and more caregiving for myself, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's been beautiful. She taught me how to go whenever I couldn't go anymore. And she has also taught me how to get close to God. Like it's been, and the sales part, it's like knowing how to talk to people, because
Which you're great at.
Well, yeah. And I feel like I could have never do sales if I would have never been through that.
Yeah.
You know, like when you go through like a big phase in your life that you're like, why did that even happen? Like there's nothing I look back in my life, Sarah, that I'm like, why did it even happen? Everything adds up right now. Everything's like, okay, I know that happened because I needed that. Like if you're going through something stressful right now or something hard in your life, like just know that there's a purpose behind it, you know? So.
Well, and it's not lost on me or probably anybody watching this. Your mom had cancer, and then right before right before a meeting that quite frankly, we're probably ready to hang it up, like a lot of us do as entrepreneurs, and we're exhausted. And then that wonderful human comes in and needs prayers because they too are struggling with health issues. And it does seem that when we do take a moment to pause and pray and get right with alignment, there is always somebody to serve on the other side.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
And I love how beautiful you are in recognizing that, because you just said this at the beginning of the podcast. You said that you knew there was a reason why. There's always a reason why. It's just sometimes we haven't really fully uncovered it because God's timing isn't providing that, right? Like it's on His time, not ours, right? Sure. You started in survival mode, obviously helping your family, figuring things out. When did your mindset shift from making it to building something bigger?
When I joined Keller.
Wow. Tell me about that. I didn't pay her to say that, just so everybody knows.
I used to work with another company that kind of like taught me, which I'm so grateful for them. I feel like every company in my life, which I've only been at 2 companies my entire career, but I feel like everybody comes in for a reason, right? So they taught me how to build on portfolios and investments, which they're the reason I know how to build my portfolio and know how to now educate my people, you know, my community on how to do it. But then one of the CEOs called me one day and he was like, well, we're ready to do 50-50 on all your commissions. And I said, why? They're my leads, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, they started to see my numbers. They started to see that I was selling 200 units a year and all of that. And I was just like,
piece of that revenue.
Yeah. And then that's where I started, you know?
That's hard too.
And I had just had my firstborn.
Yeah.
I had my firstborn. I remember the day he called me because I was sitting on the rug playing in the playroom on a like Friday evening, and he was like, we're ready to do it. And I said, we're ready to do what? And he was just like, we're ready to do like the 50-50 like deal. Like, let us know if you're willing to do that. And I was like, on everything? He was like, yeah. And I was like, all right. Like, I'm not ready to build on somewhere that my rug was going to be pulled again, you know? So I was like, it's fine. Like, I understand. I care for them a lot. Like, I still talk to a lot of them. And I love that I was able to get that foundation. Yeah. But then that pushed me to be like, okay, what's next? Like, I need to now build my empire, because I felt like I was building with them. I don't know why I felt that way, because, I mean, obviously I was always building there, but I feel like I was building with them. And then when he said that, I was like, no, I have to build by myself, which was hard because I had a newborn, and you know, newborn stage is not the easiest stage, and more with the first one.
We're still figuring that out.
Yeah, for sure. And then I was like, all right, what do I do now? And then I remember I called Jimmy Tapley and I said, not Jimmy, Tyler Tapley.
Tyler.
Yeah, I called Tyler Tapley because he was like he's one of the top producers here as well. And I was like, I need to talk to somebody that's on top of me. Like, I'm not going to call nobody that's below, you know? I need to grow.
You need a mentor, a model.
I need a mentor and a model. So I called Tyler and I said, Tyler, like, you know, what are we doing here? And I was like, this is what's going on. I need to find a new brokerage. What do you suggest? And he suggested different names, you know, but out of everybody, he said, just try to talk to Sarah. And I said, all right, let me go talk to Sarah. And I didn't have much time. I interviewed only like 2 brokerages, and I was just like, all right, this is it. I'm going to Keller. I loved the leadership. I loved how Kim and Sarah were like, we're going to help you do the team. We're going to help you do this. We're going to help you do that. For me, it was something my ears wanted to hear. I didn't know how to build.
Yeah.
I knew how to hustle, but I didn't have the time to build. So when they were like, we're going to show you the systems, we're going to show you this. For me, as much of a little piece that may look to anybody else, for me it was a big thing because my train was running 100%, 100 miles per hour. So
with a newborn.
With the newborn. So it was like, I don't have time to go to another mom and pop shop and then kind of figure out what I'm going to do. Like I need to go to a company that's know what they're doing, and I need to learn how to build like them. So that's the reason I joined. So that's when I started to say I need to build, and I have the people around me to help me build. I felt, even though I had a newborn and even though I was only sleeping like 4 hours a night, I felt empowered to know where I was going, which was really good. And I prayed a lot about the change because I was like, I want to make the right change, because you, as a realtor, you really don't want to change from company to company to company, you know? So so that's what helped me.
And you and I've had multiple discussions just about we're empire builders, right? We're very independent women.
You scare me.
I scare you. We'll talk more about that later.
Yeah. The way Sarah builds is like scary. She's like, oh, she's a very go-getter. Like if I'm a go-getter, she's 4 times the go-getting me. And I'm like, whoa, Sarah, slow down for me.
Well, I believe, and I know you and I have talked about it, we can't serve more people playing small.
I know.
And there's a lot of women leaders that are needed right now for our voices, and especially with what we as moms, we have to slow down to be that's the number one. That's right, is being a mom to our babies. And they'll always be babies, no matter how old they get, but then that's what leadership is. I mean, it's nurturing and caring for the people in your organization.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about it. You're very passionate about your community and serving and loving, and you are a rock for a lot of the people in your community, and it's so inspiring to see. For anybody out there that has ever had anything on their heart, I would say, about leadership, but sometimes it is scary.
Yeah, Sarah's like, you could do more, and then I could see more potential in you. I said, Sarah, look, girl. Look, girl,
you go and come back.
You go and let me know how that goes.
But I think God gave you a gift.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I 100% know that He gave you a gift, and I mean I even put on one of the questions because of your entire trajectory and getting into real estate and the timing of it. There's a reason, because as of now, like you are serving your community. It's so much more than just a transaction.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about like all the different things you do.
So I like wealth building. I feel like one of the reasons that I love real estate, it's because I was able to wealth build myself. And that comes back to the first company that I ever worked with, right? They obviously taught me how to do that. And I was like, if I have that knowledge, because a lot of people came to me were like, oh, I can buy more than one house. And I'm like, and my brain is like, why don't you know that? But then
like, let's go buy this whole portfolio.
Yeah. And then I'm like, and then a lot of people started asking me like, could I buy a third house? And then I'm like, okay, there's a lot of I need to teach. You know what I mean? Like if I know it, I need to teach it. Like I need people to have the knowledge that I have, because when people start asking me, can I buy my second house? And I'm like, yes, you can. What about my third? Yeah. So I did an investors meetup a year ago yesterday. Facebook reminded me about it. It was awesome. We had over 60 people come. The full room, it was packed. It was beautiful. And out of that, 2 people right now are on their 8th house.
Wow.
For me, it's more wealth building, more leaving legacy for kids, for a future, for retirement. Because I think that, yes, I'm selling you your house, and I'm so for that. First time buyers are my heart. But then what about what's next? That's not the only, there's more. There's more to real estate than just buying your first home. Let me teach you what I learned, And I feel like I come from a family that, like I said, my parents struggled to keep up with, with everything.
Yeah.
Because they were like 15, 16 years old having a baby, So I was like, we need to teach more people, like poverty, like in our community needs to decrease. Like if I feel like if I touch this, like it's going to help us a lot. I never said this before, but I'm going to say it. When my parents divorced, when I was 12 years old and we were here in the US, my dad went back to Mexico. I said, if my parents came to the US and I lost my family, I'm going to make something good about the US. And that's the reason.
What a great perspective.
Yeah.
That's very wise.
Well,
because you were young.
Very young. And I felt like if that's something that came out of this negatively, then I need to make something positively out of that. And that is I wanted to become a nurse, to be a St. Jude nurse. And that didn't work out, obviously. But now I was like, okay, I'm here. Then how do I make positively here? And then I was like, I'm going to make something big out of this. And I feel like I have so much still to do. Like I have so many like plans and emotions and so many things and movements that I want to do. But I have a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. And for me right now,
you gotta protect that time.
Yes. For me right now is like, right now is their time.
Yep.
And whenever they start growing up and they don't need me as much, then I can go back and doing whatever I want to do. But right now is like, I want to cuddle. I want to spend time with them. So, I mean, I love it. I want my people to wealth build.
Well, and I think when we talk about wealth building, I say this a lot too. I mean, you understand creative financing. And I don't know if everyone realizes if there's a will, there is a way. I mean, and you have made a way for so many people. And I just think oftentimes there's a lot of people that struggle, that they think there is no way. And you've done a beautiful job of educating people on how to get creative to access
When
things.
I first started real estate, I started to see how a lot of my people they couldn't qualify with the bank. They could afford it, but they could not qualify with the traditional bank. And I remember praying one night, and I was like, I need to find the right investor, because I interviewed a lot of investors, Sarah. But everybody was like, yeah, but what happens when they leave? What happens when they're one payment behind? I was like, all right, this guy's not the one. Because you could see the shark in them, And then I eventually found somebody without even looking, one of Farrah Captain.
Yeah.
I showed two of her listings on the same street, like by Kingsbury.
Yeah.
And then she was like, here's a gal that is approved with this guy, and she doesn't speak English, and I just want you to help her because you already showed 2 or 3 of my houses today. And I said, okay, that's fine. And then I just called the lender, and I'm like, hey, I'm Itzel, like, I'm trying to help this lady buy a house. Can you tell us if she's pre-approved? And then he was like, well, come to my office. And then I was like, all right. So then I showed up.
I'm on my way.
Yeah. And then I showed up, and he like kind of taught me a little bit of like, hey, we're willing to lend for people to do this and that. And it was like, it came from nowhere that I was looking. I was looking like at the mingles, like at the YPN events, because I used to be a YPN board member. Like I was looking everywhere, and I never thought it was going to come from another realtor referring me another, So I took it, I talked to him. He liked the idea that I wanted to grow it. When I met him, I think he only had like 2 houses. He wasn't big into it. And then it was story from there. He used to write, the hard money lender used to write approvals on like sticky notes. And I was like, all right, we got to get better. We need a process.
Yes.
I'm a process girl. So I was like, we need an application. We need this. We need attorneys. We need this. And then I set up the whole process. And now we've closed over 500 properties with him.
My God. And her client appreciation event had over 500 attendees at the event. I mean, everything you do, you're very intentional about it, and you do it at scale.
I try.
And it does help you to protect the time with your kids and your husband, because you're very purposeful about that too. Even date nights with your husband. I mean, I've watched you all over social media, and you're very strategic and purposeful about everything you do, because you're protecting the order of God, family,
I like to protect
business.
everybody.
Yeah,
I like to protect my time with God. I like to protect my time with my kids. My husband feels like I don't protect them as much. He said, we need more date nights.
Yeah.
All right.
Scott says the same. We're working on that.
Yeah, we're working on that. But then, business as well. When I sit down with clients, I don't grab my phones. Like, it's you and me. Whatever you need, I'm here. Consultations are consultations. And, I sit down, I look at their portfolio. A lot of our people are wanting to sell right now. So, I look at their portfolio, sell this one, keep this one, rent this one, let's LLC this one. I'm an investor mindset. So every time I look at portfolio, I look at the benefits of selling, of keeping, of doing a trust, of why doing a trust. And if you sit down with me, it's not going to be like, we're just going to go get you pre-approved. No, it's a whole strategic game plan. With
It's a
anybody.
strategic plan for their portfolio. And we were talking about this earlier today. I was actually talking about this on a call. How, as an entrepreneur, are you going to become irreplaceable? That is becoming irreplaceable because you're leading with service and helping the customer or potential customer understand all of the aspects around protecting your asset, making it a good investment, and then what is your financial goal?
For sure.
And I don't think most entrepreneurs look at it that way.
Yeah.
And they do become replaceable.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've even seen your system for intakes and consults is insane. I mean, you do it on 2 days, and there's how many people that come?
Yeah,
in?
this morning we did 5.
5, and it's back to back, but you're very intentional about that too. And you talk about putting your phone down. Like, you are always, if you and I are in a conversation, you're where your feet are, right? Be where your feet are. And I think a lot of salespeople, it's rude, it's disrespectful, and people don't think you're listening to them when you're constantly looking at your phone. It's not a relationship. It feels like a transaction.
It is. And I think that's very purposeful of knowing they too want attention, and you need to know how to give it to them. And I remember when I first started my career, a lot of my family members, because I was only 21, right? And a lot of my family members used to say, well, what are you going to do when there's like realtors out there that are like 50 years old that have been doing real estate for 20 years in our community? I'm speaking on the Spanish community, right? And I used to say, that put me down one day, and I called my husband. And I said, such and such said, what am I going to do if there's other realtors? And he said, he's a big person in my career, by the way. And then he said, there's gas stations on every corner. And there's clients for every gas station. What are you talking about? And I said, all right, babe, I got to go. he totally checked you. You're like, all right, Bob. And he was the reason I pushed myself, because if he would have said, oh yeah, that's right, why are you gonna do this, I'm sure I would have not done it, because he's like part of my support system. Whenever I have issues, I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? He's very quiet, but he's a very analytical person. So he oversees everything when I'm more of a driver, and he's like, stop, don't do this, not this person. He oversees things I don't see. So
he protects you.
He does.
Scott does the same with me. Let's talk about just moments in your life, like a defining moment in your life. Can you name me just a defining moment that really changed you, either as a mom, entrepreneur, agent?
Meeting Jesus.
And that goes back to that. Yeah.
I wasn't talking to my dad. And for me, family is a lot. I stopped talking to my dad when I was 12 when he left. And I talked back to my dad 6 years after when I turned 18, as soon as I left the retreat.
Was he like your first person you called?
Yeah.
Really?
I got out and I was so joyful, and I called him and I told him, forgive me for not talking to you, after he was the one that left.
How'd you feel about that?
I felt so much joy coming with forgiveness. And I felt like forgiving was a big thing that I had to do through life. And it was harder forgiving somebody that gave you life, which was my dad. And I felt like if I could do this to him, I feel like I could forgive anybody. And I feel like I'm that person. Like, if you do something to me, I'm not gonna hold a grudge. I'm so like, and I didn't do that. Trust me, I was so grudge holder. And right now I'm just like, I know how to forgive. I know when I'm not grounded. I feel when Jesus is like, all right, girl, come back to home. Yeah, I saw a video on Instagram that said, people say, why are you at church all the time? And then it says me at church, and then it's me, right? And then it says me without God, and it's throwing pans at people. That's when sometimes. So for me, it was meeting Jesus. Like, he's my everything, girl. Like,
I mean, you pray about everything.
I do.
And I mean, you and I talk about that a lot, but you're very much just as purposeful about your faith as you are with every single thing you touch.
So I felt in life that I wasn't doing what God had created me to do, even though I was doing it with real estate, but I didn't feel like it. I don't know why. And then when that lady came, and then they called me from church one day, and they said, we need some people to help us do retreats, the same type of retreat where I met Jesus.
Wow.
And they said, we're looking for leaders, and we were praying, and you came to mind. And I said, all right. And they were like, we need you to help us like build this, because this is the person that used to do them passed away from cancer 6-7 years ago, and they stopped doing them altogether. And now some of the leaders there are reintegrating and start doing it again. I was like, how am I gonna do leadership, Mom?
You got it, girl.
And then I was like, and then when that thought came in, I was like, no, I'm gonna do it.
Yes,
this is for Jesus and for the souls. And I did it. And our first retreat is in June.
So proud of you.
Yeah. And I'm so proud of Jesus, man, because like, look. I can't do it without him. And then, so we're going to start doing retreats for people. It's going to be like a whole, like, it's going to be like in Mason, Tennessee. So we're going to drive like an hour, 15 minutes to a retreat center. And then we're going to have over 60 candidates, and we're going to organize that. It's going to be every 6 months. And it's for people to meet Jesus. So I'm so excited. It's like, now I feel like I'm working, but then I'm also building my empire in heaven.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I needed to do more spiritually, because I felt like whenever I die, because I do believe that there's something after this, right? Obviously. And then I was like, I need to go see him, be like, look what I want to show him, like, look what I did for you, you know, like, not only for me, for wealth, for money, for worldly things. I wanted to say, look how many souls we could save. Look how many people we were able to bring back to you. So yeah, girl, I'm excited about that.
I'm so proud of you. I'm gonna have to have you back on and interview you when you have, completed that in June.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a full circle moment. That's where you started.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know you were doing that. I'm really proud of you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your kids and the legacy or things that you hope that you instill in them. What does that look like to you?
I want to teach them how to surf. I feel like serving is such a big thing. My oldest is not there yet, but we will get there. Yesterday, I was like, can you pick this up? He said, no, you do that. I was like, oh, all right.
Here comes a redirect. Yeah.
So just like learning them how to serve, how to be humble. I feel like we are first generation of people in our red generation that's going to have, like, I tell my husband, we're going to be the first generation that's going to have the white health, the Caucasian health, you know, like when a lot of Americans are growing up and they already have, oh, my dad left me 15 properties, or my mom left me 10 properties, or this is going to be in my whole family the first time when we pass away, our first generation that's going to own property.
And have assets.
And wealth. And how do you build a well-tempered, grounded child when they have that wealth at such a young age and they know it?
Yep.
So that's my biggest hurdle right now.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to say how to be humble, how to serve, how to have a purpose with Jesus. They go to Catholic schools because I'm like, I know that that's part of it, but we do most at home, you know, praying before dinners, praying at nights before we go to sleep, being thankful for what we have, and, you know, just getting him into that mindset of like, he's first, Jesus first, and then everything's last. And so it's just getting them to that mindset. So I'm very excited about that. Seeing him grow. He's a very loving person. He comes up to me every time I pick him up from school. He runs and hugs me.
It's the best.
And it's like the best feeling, and I would not trade that for the world. So just making them grow up to be the person that they could know that they know they have it, but they need to act like they can still go do move outs.
Yeah.
My husband
Family
took him to do
values.
move out, you know, for one of our rentals, because my husband does all our move outs, and he was there, and he was like, Mom, when are you going to come pick me up? I said, have you cleaned something? Have you picked something up the floor? He said, yeah, 2 things. I said, all right, keep cleaning until you pick up 10. I'm going to come get you. So just stuff like that, you know, just teaching him the learning how to work for yourself.
Well, how to work hard and how to humble yourself, right? And then how to manage money, you know, because when you're handed something versus when you hustled and worked for it, it's two different things.
They're building,
I want to talk really quickly, and then we'll wrap up about, I know you and I talk about the struggle being women leaders and the struggle between that and mom. And how do you balance that time?
I do calendar blockage. Like it's after certain time I'm off. Like I have 2 phones. So that helped me a lot. Just having 2 phones, just saying, hey, I'm active at work and this is my work hours, and then I'm working. And then when people know, like I sell 200 houses a year, Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
I don't work Sundays, and Saturdays we do half days, or we do like until 3 and then we're done. So I'm very purposeful of my times. I respect those as much as I can. I try to have a lot of play dates with my kids, like out with friends, and then that filters me back with other mommies. With business, I try to connect as much people as I can. I keep hiring people, even though I say I don't need to hire, but I hire all the time. We are now a team of 6 people, and that every hire that I had, I have struggled to hire, and every time I hire, I'm like, why did I never do it sooner? So if you're thinking of hiring, this is the time to do so.
I never thought I'd hear you say that.
Yeah, no, yes. So I remember Sarah saying, you need help. And I was like, no, I don't. I'm fine. And she was like, no, you need help. And the more I let go, the more free I feel. And knowing that, like we were just talking about this before we started, like knowing that people are not going to do it the way you do it, but customer service isn't my first thing. So them knowing our priorities of how we have to talk to people, our first consult, how it has to look, the beverage, the what we talk to them about, what they should expect from us, the knowledge. So I'm very respectful for each timing. And I would say if you have a business, hire if you need it. My coach told me this, my MAPS coach told me this. He said, if you have a problem and you have money, you don't have a problem.
It's you.
It's you.
Ooh, that stings.
Yeah, I know. When he told me that, I said, all right, let me go hire somebody. So he's always telling me that. So if you have a problem, and you have the money, you don't have a problem. And I said, all right, perfect. So that leave that right there. And then as a mom, just be present as much as you can. I know like in our whole community is like hustle, 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 but that's not really the truth. Like, yes, hustle while you can if you don't have kids, but if you do have kids, and this is talking to mommies, try to make as much time as you can with them, because we grow, they grow, and then eventually, as you as a kid remember, you don't remember when dad came into the house working late. You remember when he came in, played with you, sat with you, talked to you. So yes, and that's something that I work a lot, because my mom was not present. My mom was more a hustler. Yeah. So it's hard for me to sit down and be like, all right, let's go play.
Well, you got in the habit of it.
I got in the habit of being present.
And she did too, because she had to.
Yes. So it's just, rolling out of hustle mode and survival mode, rolling into I'm okay, giving that to another person, and let me handle more of transactions of like, how is this lining up? What is this looking like? Is this going okay? So yeah, I think systems is everything. Hiring more people if you need it is everything. And having intentional time has been the greatest thing for me. And pray. Just pray, girl. Just get on your knees and pray.
Oh, that's great advice. And I have missed every single question here. So I'm going to get to the hot seat questions. This is just the fast, rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Let's talk about your first deal. First deal you ever did. What do you remember most about it? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
I didn't know how to do nothing. I didn't even have an attorney. I didn't even have an attorney. It was so funny because I had it under contract and it was a HUD home. And one of the girls that I used to work with, no, it was an REO home. Yes, it was an REO home by Shorty Watkins.
Okay. And you have a lot of paperwork at this point that you're like.
And then I got it and they were like, who are you closing with? I said, what do you mean?
Me?
Yeah, me. And then they're like, you need an attorney. So then I called one of my biggest mentors ever, Mark Saller. He passed away 2 years now. And I called him because he was part of the property management at the moment, down that moment on the sales side. And I called Mark and I was like, hey, Mark, they said we need an attorney. He's like, oh, yeah, call Stanley. And I was like, all right. And then I called Stanley and they're like, yeah, we don't have nobody to speak Spanish. I was like, Mark, I need somebody to speak Spanish. She's like, I don't know how to help you there. And I was like, all right, perfect. So then I called around, but yeah, it was finding an attorney to close my deal because I had the deal, but I didn't have an attorney.
Who knew you needed an attorney?
No, nobody.
To close it. Well, it's funny you say that because when you get into real estate, people tell you a lot right out of the gate, right? Sure. But it's like you can't possibly absorb all of that information.
It's a lot.
I was just like, how do I fill in this form, i.e. a contract, and make sure that I'm taking care of people? Like that's my biggest fear was that writing up an offer.
For sure.
Because I had
and this was an online bid, so like you submitted it, and I really didn't ask anything as like very particular. I remember filling it out and being okay without putting an attorney, unless I put myself. I'm the attorney. But yeah, and they were like, you got the bid. And I'm like, okay, perfect.
Now what?
Yeah.
What's one belief about money you had to unlearn?
Having money at home. Yeah. I am a very Mexican, you pay cash for it type of thing, in which, I mean, I'm still believing in that, but I feel like I could grow more if I leverage more out.
Okay.
And I feel like all our portfolio is liquidated. So it's like, okay, now what? What do we do here? You know what I mean? Being able to help that. Like, I think it's like a full circle moment right now for me because I'm right there running right this second to where I'm like, okay, is my next property going to be a residential or am I going to jump into commercial now?
Commercial.
And then I'm like, okay, but what do I want to do? Do I want to do like a retail whole split, a whole retail split place, or do I want to do a apartment complex? So I'm like right there, like it's in the, I'm right there.
Makes me excited. I'm excited about that for you. You've got a lot of new endeavors coming down the line.
For sure.
And you're constantly evolving, always. And your energy just like makes me so excited because you're like me. Like we will just go 1,000 miles an hour and we might not know what we're doing.
But we're fine with it.
We're going to get there and then ask somebody and figure it out with a smile.
One of my assistants said, how do you feel so calm If you have never, I had to tell my client this. He said, have you ever done commercial? And I said, yeah, I did commercial. And he said, what about commercial leasing? I said, I've never done that one. I said, but we're going to learn together.
Yeah. You're like, I'm going to read the forms and I'll figure it out and then get an attorney.
Yeah. My assistant was like, how are you going to be showing property when you really don't know what you're doing? I said, we're going to show the property and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Bro. If he likes it, then we'll figure it out.
That's the entrepreneurial spirit. All right. One habit that changed your life.
Waking up early.
Waking up early.
Thanks to Sarah.
Oh, really?
This just
Me?
happened after Bold.
Really?
You did not know that?
No.
No. When you said, I go to the gym at 5:30, I'm like, I got to do that.
I did, yes. Itzel is joining us in the gym. And I was so proud of you. And how does it feel, though, when you get it done?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It has been a great...
Oh, that makes me really happy.
Yeah, it has been great for me. Like, I wake up and then I still go back home and one of the kids still asleep. The other one, Dad gets him ready for school. And then I'm like, okay, I can still, like, at least breathe, take my protein shake, be in peace with myself. I used to wake up when the kids woke up because, long nights, 1-year-old.
Oh, yeah, you're not sleeping.
So I was just like, okay, but waking up at 5:30, because Sarah was like, you got to meet me at 5:30. So that day I woke up at 5. And then that day I was like, woo, it was not okay.
You told me you were going to go home and go back to bed.
I said, I'm about to go back to bed. And I was like, do you take naps? She was like, no. I said, well, I'm going to go and take a nap. Which I never did, by the way. I could never. I tried and it was just hard for me to go back down at 2 o'clock or 1:30. And I was like, no, I got to go. And then now I'll go to the gym. I get there at 6. So I got to wake up at 5:30 and then I leave around 7. And then, that builds my day. And then after I get home, since I have so much energy, I get the little one ready and then we go to mass.
Yes.
So before 8:45, I already went to the gym, I already went to mass, and then I'm just like, all right, come on, world, whatever you got.
Mind, body, and spirit right before 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And if more entrepreneurs did that, they would have more energy
to do more. I see that. I was like, if every day looked like this for me, I would do 3 times what I do right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but it's okay. You have a 1-year-old.
You do. And it's Monday through Friday, right? Like, I don't have to do that on Saturday.
No, yeah.
Saturdays are my time to sleep in before we go to soccer.
Yeah.
And sleeping in looks way different than what it was,
before.
10 years ago. But it does give you the energy. And a lot of people, as entrepreneurs, we typically pour into so many others, and we're running empty. And you have to, or you'll run out. And then you'll end up out of the business, or your business, you won't have a business at that point.
Yeah,
right?
I think we have all run to the point to where, like, all right, we're there.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah.
And then it's building the systems. So many realtors call me and they're like, hey, we're burned out. I'm like, yeah, you got to move to another brokerage that helps you how to build. Hey, give me your stuff. I'm like, this costs time.
Yeah. Well, that's what you're paying for, right? Like, you pay to have, and I tell everybody this all the time, I pay for a network. And that network has poured into me. Somebody said this the other day, return on impact. It has impacted me more than any of the money that I've invested in it.
And everybody's like, yeah, but you're paying out 20-some thousand. And I'm like, yeah, but you're getting the opportunity to be sitting on the table where people are closing 350 transactions.
Yeah.
And if you want to grow, it's there.
It's a bigger world because of the network, right? Yeah. With different models.
Yeah.
Which I love.
And that's what I love about being with Color, that you can sit down at the table with anybody and then you could ask them anything and they're open for it. Like, I could go have lunch with James Harvey and be okay, and then I have also had lunch with people with networking and it's perfectly fine. So it's just like
everybody shares,
everybody grows, and it's beautiful. Like, I love it.
Well, I love you, and I'm so glad our paths crossed. All right, one non-negotiable with your kids each week.
I think that my non-negotiable that I have with them is just being on the dinner table. Because I feel like when I'm at the dinner table, I'm like wrapping up the day, like offers and sellers and showings, because I don't show houses anymore. So I have somebody that runs the streets, right? But it's like, oh, the key doesn't work, So I'm like, it doesn't matter who calls at 6 o'clock when we're done at dinner. When nobody answers the phone. Yeah. Like, we're here, we're present, we're talking about our day. We laugh about what happened during the day. Everybody shares. Like, when I say everybody, it's me, my husband, and my 4-year-old, because my 1-year-old still doesn't talk, obviously, but he chips in.
The 4-year-old has a lot to say about it.
For sure, he does. And he's just like, can I have the phone back? Can I please have my phone back? I'm like, first, you don't have a phone, and second, we don't have phones on the table. So yeah, it's stuff like that, you know, 'cause it's a dinner table for me.
Yeah. And I don't know if a lot of us protect that time as much as we should.
No, I think we don't. When I got to the point to where we started to protect it more, when we were more conscious about it, because he started to grow, and one day I realized my husband was eating at the table, and then my at the moment 2-year-old was dragging his plate to the coffee table at the living room, and then I was eating while I was cooking, and I was like,
what's happening
hold
here?
up. No. Aren't we a family?
And you're like, and I just prepared this food and we're going to sit down and enjoy it together as a team.
And I love to cook. So I was just like, no, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk, and this is a non-negotiable.
Favorite type of deal right now?
Type of deal.
One favorite type of deal that you like to structure?
Yeah, well, right now I love to look at investments. Like I love to ROI portfolios. I love portfolios. Like right now I have 2 sitting in my text messages. They're like, we want to sell a portfolio. Can you please help us with this and see which one is the best one? And I love to see that. I love to see investors sell. And
you like numbers?
I love numbers.
Yeah.
I'm a math girl.
Yeah.
I love that. I love to see that. Even though I'm not much of a, like I said, I don't use loans as much as I should. But I love the fact that I could see that and help people do that. You know,
Who's pouring into you in that space?
for what?
Loans and wealth management.
Santiago with Community Mortgage.
And
he's the one that's like, girl, and I'm like, it was so funny one day because he invited me to an investor meetup, a young investor meetup. It was down at Royal Garden, I think it was. We were outside sitting, and I think it was Dan Butler that was giving us this interview, right, to all of us. We were young people there, and I thought it was not a bad question, but then everybody looked at me like I was dumb. But then he called me and he was like, you should never say that again. And I was like, all right. And then so he came up they were all asking questions, right, about money and like leveraging and all of that, and I was like, what would you do if you could pay cash for everything? Would you be able to pay cash, or would you loan, like would you do a loan on everything? And everybody looked at me, and then Santiago looked at me, and then he was like, next question. I was like, and then Santiago was like, never ask that question. I was like, why? He's like, this is leverage. And I was like, well, I don't know. My family is such like a
money leverage. People don't talk about it.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, if you have the money, why don't you buy it off? And then that builds wealth for the future, because we don't know what's gonna. Let's just say tomorrow you're in a freaking car accident and your legs are cut off, your tenant moves out, and then you're like, how the heck am I gonna pay for that?
Yep.
And then you're like, all right, like I'm always like on like very conservative on investments. Like I don't want to have risk, like if you know anything. So yeah, but I was just cracking up that day because Santiago was like, you asked the most weird question that night. I was like, all right.
Well, you're like, well, this is what I need to know, and I'd like somebody to provide this information before you go on to the next question. All right, last but not least, we ask everybody this. Favorite karaoke song?
Carol G, Mañana será bonito.
Okay, you'll have to send me that.
Yeah.
I need to come ride. I need to do a ride along with you one day. I have a feeling you're a really fun vibe in the car.
Girl, I'm on the phone
the whole time.
I'm on the phone the whole time, and then when I hear music, because you know when I have music at the office when I'm like working, and then whenever I get off the phone, I just hear the music click back in, you know, and I'm like, what? Where's the and that was my phone connected to I was like that dull moment, you know?
Never a dull moment. No. Well, thank you for today.
Thank you for inviting me.
I love you so much.
Thank you.
And
Me too. Thank you for pouring
you've become
in.
just really, I see you as a dear friend, and I love your heart.
Thank you.
I really do. I always have said that about you. You're definitely a bright light that the world needs.
Oh.
All right, everybody. If you enjoyed this episode, share and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to continue the Lift journey. I'm your host, Sarah Layson. Thanks for listening.